This is lesson 5, and before we proceed with more modeling, I want to introduce, I'm assuming a certain amount of knowledge with SketchUp, but there are basic organizational skills that you'll need to assimilate, and among them is the creation of scenes. Let's say I just wanted to zoom extent of the model, and there's a view of my model as it sits on the side with sunlight at 12 p.m. (1:27) today, right? So that it assumes certain position of the sun coming from the south, pointing in that direction. We haven't set true north yet. And if we click on this Add Scene button, it will save the view and the view parameters. So there's an isometric noontime sun view of the model. It saves among the parameters a camera location, all that you see here, visible layers. That's important because if CAD underlays were not turned on, as they are just now, right? If I were to double-click that view, it would go back to the view without. So if I wanted for the AutoCAD underlays to, or any other layer to be on, I should include them in that view. Let's create a section. Tool, section plane. I'm going to create a simple floor plan of the first floor. How do I do that? I place the section plane on the ground. So everything disappears that's below that section plane. A section plane is like any other element. You can move it, and I'm going to move it in the X direction 48 inches, which is typical for a floor plan. And I'm going to right-click, align view, so that's going to align my view with that floor plan. Change some of the visibility settings. I don't want to see the section plane. Probably don't need shadows here. So this is a very simple plan. Let us create a new scene, name it Floor Plan Level 1. Okay. You can see in 3D that is a plan of the model with the cutting plane 4 feet from the ground. If I double click back to the other scene, all the settings are preserved with those scenes. Let's create a section, another section. This time in that direction, and that would be effectively a cross section. So to further illustrate what's going on here, I'm going to turn on the visibility of the AutoCAD cross-section underlay, which is exactly in 3D space where it belongs, where the section cut wants to be. So I'm going to take this section plane and move it in the direction green axis. Let's see if we can lock down that inference. Alright, well, I'm getting close to, I'm at least in front of that section. So, though the CAD drawing is representing geometry that occurs in the original CAD file that hasn't been yet created in this model, because I've cut the section in front of the where the CAD drawing is, align the view, turn off section planes, shadows, I'm going to add a scene and call this cross section cross. So I have several scenes. They also appear here as tabs, which I can click on. There's my isometric with noontime sun. There's my floor plan of level 1. There's my cross section of building. I can turn off the CAD layer visibility, the cross section. It'll be much more meaningful at drawing once some of the interior geometry is modeled. Remember that we have not yet modeled the floor slab level 2, and we need to do that. So we'll do that next, but I did want to introduce, this is hardly exhaustive in terms of the number of scenes that we need, but I did want to introduce the notion that you can create sections in the model and save different points of view in scenes. So we'll call lesson 5 scenes and sections.